All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Julie Spear. I'm the Assistant Director and Senior Instructional Designer in A.T. Still University's Teaching and Learning Center, or TLC. And I want to welcome everyone here in the Zoom room today and those who are watching this recording online. Today's Tech Time will be split into two major parts. First, I'm going to give a recap of this month's Canvas in 5 and provide a demonstration. That's what will be recorded and uploaded to the TLC's YouTube channel, which we call the Learning Channel. After the demonstration, we'll stop the recording and provide a safe space for Q&A and discussion. Because of this structure, I'm going to ask that the folks who are joining us live today reserve their questions until we stop the recording. And before I dive in, I want to offer two brief reminders. The first is that Canvas in 5 and Tech Time recordings are available on the Learning Channel. And additionally, attending Tech Time or reporting your engagement with Tech Time recordings is eligible for half a credit toward level 2, that's the technology level, in our Level Up certificate program. So those are our brief reminders. And this month's Canvas in 5 and today's Tech Time are focused on rubrics in Canvas. While rubrics are not perfect for every type of assignment, they are very helpful tools because they help us to communicate our expectations to our learners, and they can help streamline and ensure that our grading is consistent. In this month's Canvas in 5, Quincy walked us through how to create a rubric when you're building an assignment in Canvas, and how you can use rubrics within SpeedGrader on Canvas to efficiently grade submitted work. It is certainly not a requirement that you've watched the Canvas in 5 video, but we'll put that link in the chat now and provide it on YouTube to those who want to watch or review that video later. In today's Tech Time, I want to talk about techniques that are related to those shown in the Canvas in 5 video. At the TLC, we often talk about working smarter, not harder. You may want to create one rubric that you're going to use multiple times in a course or use for multiple purposes, or maybe you've created some great rubrics in the past that you want to repurpose. So that's what we're going to focus on today. We're going to look at how you can create a rubric that you plan to reuse and how you can find, use, and edit rubrics that you've already made. So let's get started. I'm going to move some screens around and share a sandbox of mine. Give me 1 second here, get everything in its proper place. All right, so thumbs up, I hope, for the people in the room. Awesome, thank you so much. I'm glad that you are seeing my screen. So to get to rubrics, we're gonna go to the rubrics side of our Canvas window. So here we can find rubrics. And if you're not seeing this option, that's okay. We have a previous Tech Time where we show how you can find and move things around in your navigation window. So we're going to click rubrics here. Let me move everyone's video panels away. And here we're going to go to add rubric up at the top. So we're going to go up here to add rubric. And this is where you're going to create a rubric. We can call this, for demonstration purposes today, I'm going to do something like a skills pass-off. So I'm going to do skills passed-off rubric. And here I'm going to, for demonstration purposes today, just make 2 criteria. You might use multiple, and there's certainly not a hard and fast rule about how many criteria you have to have. But here we'll do one. We'll start this called accuracy, our procedure. And let's make this out of 5 points. We'll have a medium ground of 2.5. And we will call this minimal mistakes. And we can edit this to say no mistakes. And this one to say major mistakes. Great. And now we can create a second criteria in the Canvas in 5. Quincy showed we can duplicate this. And here, let's call this instructor intervention. And here we might have no intervention needed. We can take out this middle rating, and here we can call this instructor intervention needed. So here we've built out a rubric that we could use for multiple skills pass-offs. Again, this could look different in your teaching, just an example. And then to create this rubric, we're going to click the blue Create Rubric button. So now let's bring this into an assignment. I'm going to go over to the Assignments option and create a new assignment. And maybe this is the week 1 skills pass-off. And here I'm going to give some instructions about what this is all about. So maybe the skill here was taking blood pressure. We can make this out of points. And if you have assignment groups set up here, you can toggle where this assignment is going to live. Here I've created a group called Weekly Skill Pass-Offs. So I'll just assign this to this group. We'll display it as points for now. And because we're going to actually watch students do these skills in person and grade them on it, we don't have a submission type. We can leave this as no submission. If you had them submitting a file or submitting something online, you could certainly change this. But for this example, there's no submission needed. And I'm going to scroll to the bottom and save and publish. So now that we've created this assignment, we can add that rubric that we just made. So here at the bottom of the page, you should see the option for Add Rubric. And here, instead of creating this from scratch, we can go to this search button that says Find a Rubric. And now we're going to scroll down. It gets a little unwieldy the more classes you have, but I'm going to scroll down to my sandbox. Sorry, without giving everyone whiplash. And here, I'm going to find that rubric that we just made, the Skills Pass-Off rubric. And we can scroll down and use this rubric. You might have to scroll to find that. It's right there at the bottom. So now we can see that this rubric that we've created has been added to this assignment. And if I needed to, if I wanted to use this to grade while students are performing skills in front of me, I recommend clicking, sorry, let me cancel that and show you that again. I recommend clicking this pencil icon. And at the bottom, we can click the option to select Use this rubric for assignment grading. That's going to help it be a little bit easier for us in SpeedGrader. So once I've selected that, I can click Update Rubric. And now let's say I am evaluating Erin in week 1 on her skill of taking blood pressure. I could come over to SpeedGrader. And we're going to say that test student is Erin. Here I could view the rubric. And now that rubric that we've created is showing up right in SpeedGrader, but it looks a little narrow and small. So I'm actually going to click and drag, make this a little bit wider so I can see things easier. And here now Erin did a wonderful job and did not make any mistakes and didn't need any intervention. So I can use this rubric to grade her performance. And I can also give feedback. So, perfect job. Or here, keep up the great work. You would certainly make these more specific to the skills and the student performance, but just to quickly demonstrate, I wanted to highlight that we can provide feedback directly in the rubric related to the success criteria. I can click Save, and now we can see that her score has been updated here automatically based on what I supplied in the rubric. And now I can add even more in-depth feedback outside of the rubric in SpeedGrader as well. And in a previous demonstration, we showed how you can create a library of feedback. That's really helpful. And so I'm going to use that technique here to bring in some feedback that I might have already written from a library, and then I would personalize this. So Erin, please see the rubric, and I could insert more specific feedback here. And now I can hit submit. So now if Erin were to go in, she'd be able to see the score that she received, the feedback that I provided directly in the rubric, as well as that general feedback that has been provided for her. So now this is great. We've made a rubric, we can repurpose, we can bring that into different assignments. And let me show you that very quickly again. If we wanted to create a week 2 skills pass off, we'd do the exact same thing. So we'd go back to assignments. We'd create the assignment again. Maybe this is IVs now. We'd add that to the skill pass off. And we'd link that very same assignment by going to Add Rubric, finding it. All the way at the bottom there. And using that rubric again. So we've created one assignment, we made it once, and now, excuse me, one rubric once, and now we've put it into multiple assignments where we can use that over and over. Now, I did want to point out just a couple quick things here before we switch to Q&A. I wanted to point out that if this is something more maybe like an OSCE or an assignment where you're going to use moderated grading, so multiple instructors are grading students' work, if you toggle this on for moderated grading and use a rubric, all the graders will have access to the rubric, which is really nice. So they'll all have that same success criteria. So this rubric option does work for moderated grading. And also, if we're done with this rubric or we made a mistake and we want to make edits, we can come over back to the Rubrics tab. And here I can click on this. Because it's been added to multiple assignments, I can't edit it directly here because it's linked to multiple places, but I certainly could come here, and if this is no longer needed in the class, I could delete it. So that's nice because your library is going to hang on to all those rubrics as you saw. This is a nice way if that isn't something you need anymore, you can delete that out without having it kind of create added depth to your rubric library. So to recap a bit today, we talked about how you can create rubrics that you're going to use multiple times. We've talked about how you can add those to multiple assignments. We've talked about using that rubric to help with speed grader and grading and having consistency in grading, even if you have multiple people who are assessing student work. And we've talked about removing that rubric from your library. So now we're just about at time. I want to make sure that we have room for question and answer and a little bit of discussion. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And Aaron, if you wouldn't mind stopping the recording for me, we'll open this up for Q&A.